Welcome friends to another r/entitled parents video. If you want to do one easy thing to prove you're not entitled, all you gotta do is hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. That said, our first story of the day is by 3 Imaginary Cupcakes. Entitled parents use guilt when I try to make boundaries. I'm trying to learn how to set more healthy boundaries with my family, but the entitled parents in my life always make me feel guilty for it. My brother and his wife are the entitled parents in this. My brother, his wife, their 3 children, my disabled mother, and I all live in the same house. Well, they live in the house, I live in the broken down camper in the backyard. I'm divorced, no children, can't have any, and instead of a job, I take care of my niece and nephews while my brother and sister-in-law are working. Childcare prices are a witch. Since I bring in no actual income, I keep my mouth shut most of the time. I ask for certain things to be picked up at the grocery store. Half the time I never get them. The mattress I sleep on is used and has springs drilled through it. Okay, I'll get a pillow top because I can't afford a new one. Especially because we're trying to expand on the house, build me an actual room, and so we're cutting extras out as much as possible. Remember this, my mother recently had to have her leg amputated, her other was taken years ago. Trying to cheer her up, I sent her a lot of Lieutenant Dan memes. Even got her a Lieutenant Dan shirt for her physical therapy. At the moment, she's in a nursing home for physical therapy while we try to get the house ready for her to come home. I visited her dozens of times while my brother and sister-in-law have done like once. I've even taken their kids to see her. She's lonely, which is understandable. This is important later. The weekend of my mother's birthday, my best friend needed me. Not going into why, but it was important I was with her. That afternoon, I found out that my sister-in-law was not in fact going to visit my mother for her birthday, which was also like 2 days after her leg came off. And I sat there torn because this wasn't right. My sister-in-law was too busy to take her kids over to see my mom? Okay, so I told my best friend I had to go, just for a few hours and I'd be back. Because I couldn't let my mother sit alone after so much trauma on her birthday. I felt like I needed to be in a dozen places at once and was just letting everyone down. And I was resentful for it. I tried to draw a line in the sand. I need this weekend for me, but I could not escape the guilt of letting my mother have no visitors at all on her birthday. And then I'm a sucker because the next day is my brother and sister-in-law's wedding anniversary, and I sped home and watched the kids for them so they could go out, because it's what mom asked me to do. Please understand, at the same time, my sister-in-law's dad was dying of cancer, so I did feel they deserved a night out. A week or so later, her dad died, and I was there. I came when called because she needed to be with that part of her family. I went to the funeral and sat alone just in case I was needed. I watched their 1-year-old daughter while they went to the wake and got drunk and shared stories because it was important. I knew it was important. But I'll admit, I was resentful when they didn't get home until 10 that evening. It was Valentine's Day and I didn't get to see my boyfriend at all. Then today happened and I wanted to scream and cry and throw a fit like a toddler. Today it just felt like it was all too much. Sundays my brother and his wife have off. Sundays are the one day I'm guaranteed to have time for myself, in theory. My brother calls me over at around noon today to ask me to watch the boys while he, his wife, and their toddler daughter go bed shopping. Bed shopping. Why? Their mattress is lumpy. I wanted to scream, "Witch, my mattress makes me bleed if I lay wrong." Instead, I say, "I thought you were taking the kids to see mom today." Brother said, "We will after. You take the boys down and see her and we'll meet with you after." I say I wasn't planning on seeing mom today. I've gone every day this week. You were seeing her today. Me trying to draw a line in the sand. Brother said, "Well, I mean, if you don't want to take the boys, I guess I'll just tell her she can see them next weekend and she can just see little bit, daughter, today." I watch him walk away, shocked, knowing that by drawing this line, mom gets hurt more than anyone, and I'm still left watching the boys until they get home. His wife goes by, and I ask how long they'd be bed shopping, and she shrugged, not knowing. Not caring, really, at least in my mind. Okay, but I wasn't really planning on doing all of this today. But brother says that if I don't take the boys, mom won't get to see them. Sister-in-law nods like this was the most obvious thing in the world, and can I get to my point? I say, "Well, that's not fair." She says, "Why?" I say, "Because they haven't seen her in weeks. The other 2 times they went, I was the one who took them." In the end, I agreed to take them. I sacrificed my time so they could go bed shopping. And I'm trying not to scream because my brother will act violently. They'll threaten to kick me out, and I don't have anywhere to go at that point. I feel like a burden. The really rich part to me is that they offered me their old mattress. Well, they would have if it wasn't a king. Only a queen will fit in the camper. I let them get away with it all. Every line comes with consequences. Someone gets hurt, and in the end, I always let it be me. But it's getting harder and harder to live like this. This is definitely a tricky situation for OP to be in, but considering everything, do you think that they should start polling some kind of demand? Whether it's getting paid for watching the kids, or just demanding that their living situation gets improved upon, or, some more care or consideration goes their way. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Our next story is by an anonymous poster. Entitled Aunt tried to force me and my cousin to play dress up with her kid. So one time I had a sleepover at my cool cousin's house, aka Stella's older brother. Let's call him Danny. And he's practically my best bud and still is today. One thing to know about Danny, he hates Stella, mainly because their mom spoils her. Examples are she gets way more Christmas presents, and the one he gets are like socks and educational stuff. She got a bigger room than him despite being 10 years apart in age, and her own playroom, which was his gaming and manga room. He has to bow to her every whim and play with her when she's bored. She gets $5 a week, and he had to do a lot of the chores for that kind of pay. She needs help with homework from him, meaning he does it, and on birthdays, she gets to do whatever she likes. Entitled Aunt's reasoning is that because their birthdays are so close together, Stella's is the 29th of September and his is the 5th of October, it would be too much money so they celebrate on the same day. But it's all about Stella. The closest thing he got to his party was when we got to go karting, but even still, she got a pink fairy cake. So I go to his house, it's just Entitled Aunt, Danny, and Stella there. I guess my uncle was out somewhere, unfortunately. And we were, relaxing on his GameCube, playing some Pokemon and Paper Mario. We were eating snacks and watching some corny sitcoms when Stella asked me if she could give us a princess makeover. We said no, and she ran off. Couple minutes later, she runs behind me and places a tiara on my head. Danny says, "What are you doing?" She ran off again. Later, her mother comes and yells at us about what we just did, but we just carry on. At dinner, she was being a brat, telling me that I look like Ariel from Little Mermaid or Anna. I can't remember, but because of the time, probably Ariel. It's because of the ginger hair. Then asked me and Danny to put on dresses and asked us if she could put makeup on us. We just looked at her weirdly before laughing and saying nah, and later we decided to stay up a bit more to play Pokemon Coliseum, with Entitled Aunt constantly bugging us to play with Stella. Now Danny was getting annoyed because he's constantly playing with Stella no matter how much he doesn't want to, and it seems he's never enough, so he told his mom we'll play with her in the morning. But Stella kept coming in asking for us to play. When we were gonna go sleep, Entitled Aunt yelled at us that Stella was upset now, and now we needed to make her feel better. We then fell asleep, only to be awoken by my cousin yelling at the top of his lungs, "What are you doing, you brat?" Which got everyone awake, and Entitled Aunt came rushing in. Turns out, Stella snuck into our room and attempted to put makeup on both of us. She managed to paint our lips purple and paint our nails pink and a few other things. We were both knocked out, but I guess Danny woke up and gave her a spook. Entitled Aunt came in and yelled at Danny about what happened, and when tried to explain to her about it, of course she didn't listen and tried to make excuses and how it was her idea to make Stella happy and go sleep and how it was the only way to soothe her. Now if my uncle was there, that wouldn't happen. In the end, Stella gave a half-hearted apology and we went to the bathroom to wash it off, both annoyed but also kind of laughing about the situation and each other's faces. We also put a camera up to see if she would do it again for proof. Teenager logic. Also, she didn't. In the morning, everything was so awkward, especially when Danny's dad came back, probably from a business trip or something. And of course, we had to snitch. He didn't believe it at first, and Entitled Aunt denied it, but we managed to squeeze a confession out of Stella. And we took a picture of ourselves in makeup to prove it to him. Entitled Aunt tried a few other things like how we were bullying Stella so she had to discipline us, but my awesome uncle proceeded to believe us and gave her some discipline instead. Also, Stella got in massive trouble. Me and Danny spent the rest of the day going to the local mall together without the buying whatever we wanted. Fun fact, having a family member who's a kid and not your kid is a great way to milk some money out of your parents. and eating ice cream and doing whatever we wanted. So overall, it was a great sleepover. Now I just want to say Stella's a better person now, and entitled aunt is to blame and is still an entitled aunt. In fact, Stella's still guilty about it to this day, and we just tell her she was a small kid and shouldn't be worried. However, Danny still kind of resents her, and you can't really blame him. All I can say now is that we had sleepovers at my place from then on. I would definitely think the aunt in the situation is entitled and biased. That said, I think just about every other aspect is relatively normal growing up with siblings. Whether it's the annoying to play with them or wanting to do a makeover on you, that all seems relatively normal. It's just the weird bias and sticking up for only one of your kids that is very not cool. And our final story of the day is by Visual Coyote 588. Entitled Mom hits me and grabs my face guard after I save her kid from a serious injury. Backstory: I play cricket for a club and sometimes just with my mates. We play proper cricket with a hard leather ball. This detail's important later. So a few weeks ago, me and my mates were bored typing memes in our group chat on Instagram when one of my mates, we'll call Jacob, suggested we play a proper game of cricket on the field next to our school. We were on holidays and summer break in Australia at the time. Everyone loved the idea, so we said on Saturday that week we'd go and play cricket. There were 26 of us in total, 22 players, 11 per side, 2 mates to score for us, and 2 umpires. We chose the teams fairly and went out to play our one-day game, 50 overs. I was a captain and won the toss to choose the field, and because I'm a wicket keeper, I went to put my protection on, pads, gloves, etc. My team has 1 spinner, Jacob, and about 25 overs in, I told Jacob to come bowl. For those who don't know, when a spinner comes on, the wicketkeeper wears a helmet, as he stands right up to the stumps and right near the bats. Jacob was doing well, 4 balls into his over, and he had 1 wicket, out, and had only 1 run hit on him. On the 5th ball, a crazy kid who looked like he's drunk 5 cans of Red Bull ran onto the field. He ran right into where the ball was about to go, so I used my reflexes to tackle him off the pitch and not get hit with the ball. Meanwhile, the batsman didn't know the kid was there and started to swing his bat. Luckily, I jumped in front and he stopped his swing, but that could have ended really badly for the kid. I got off the kid and stood him up and asked him where his mother was. As soon as I said that, this woman wearing a very baggy shirt and some jogging shorts came running towards me, screaming at the top of her lungs, "Get off my son, you freaking child predator!" I'm not touching her son at this point. She runs up and smacks me on the helmet while I just stand there in shock. This is the following conversation. She said, "Why did you tackle my son and lay on top of him, you predator?" I say because the little crap was about to get a cricket ball to his shin and a bat to his head. She says, "It's just a tennis ball, it wouldn't have hurt at all." I say, "You don't think the ball would have hurt? Yo, Jacob, chuck us the ball." He tosses the ball, and I remove my gloves to reveal my hands. I squeezed the ball as hard as I could and nothing was happening. "Tennis ball, you say? Then why isn't it squeezing?" She says, "Because you've got a little girl grip." Now, I went to a special cricket camp for 5 days, and they did a grip test to see how firm our grip was, and because I'm ambidextrous, both my hands are as dominant as the other, my grip was firm on both, about 2 times the normal person. I don't have a little girl grip. I hand her the ball and say, "Righto then, you squeeze it if you're so confident." She squeezed it with effort, you could tell by her face. With no luck, she gave up and threw the ball at my head, screaming something about her son wanted to play and we should have let him. I did, however, hear and see her pointing at me, saying how she was gonna call the police on me for assault. I said, "How exactly did I assault anyone in this scenario?" She grabbed the face guard of my helmet, pulled me close to her cigarette breath and said, "You tackled my child, you freaking predator." At that point, I've had enough. And because I did karate and taekwondo for a few years, even though I didn't make it past white belt, I still know a few things. I grabbed both of her hands, twisted them, and then shoved her off of me. I told her to piss off and never come back. She and the little monster walked off, and me and my mates decided to keep playing. I wish I could say the story and then everything ended happily ever after, but no, about 10 to 15 minutes later, we hear sirens and sure enough, she called the police. She talked to them for about 5 minutes, and then the police came over onto the field and told us to come over and speak to them. Entitled Mother said, "Not all of them, just that brat in that helmet." pointing at me. The police then said, "You come over here," so I did. The officer told me that she said I assaulted her child for no reason, then asked for my side of the story. I told him that me and my mates were just playing when the little kid ran onto the field, so I tackled him to the ground because he was about to get a bat to the back of the head and a ball to the shin. I then explained how she came over, threw a ball at my head, and grabbed my face guard. Then I told him to go ask anyone on the field, they'll tell you the exact same story. So I called Jacob over here and asked him to tell the police what happened. The story was then again repeated by Jacob. The police then asked me if I wanted to press charges for assault. I said no, as I just wanted to get back to my game. Unfortunately, not 5 seconds later after the police were walking away, she then punched me right in the face. As I took my helmet off to talk to the officer, the police then ran over, tackled her to the ground, and she spat in one of their faces. She was then arrested for assault of a police officer and resisting arrest. And that is the end of the story. I'm gonna be honest, most of the cricket stuff did go right over my head. I just don't know how cricket's played and like the terminology, but I definitely understand exactly what the Karen did here and how wrong they were, and I hope they enjoy jail cells. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So of all 3 of these stories that I've read for you today, which one was your personal favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, if you could like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. Whatever you do, whether it's liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, all of it helps grow this channel and I appreciate the heck out of it. So until next time, I'll see you all tomorrow with some more stories.